Your mind is constantly wavering, flickering, this thought, that thought. Train the mind to become steady. Now impact it with the thoughts that I want to impact it with.
We learn about life through questions.
Then is everybody intuitive?
Isn't that restricting the growth?
How do you find that balance?
Is it a verb like work to do?
How do we progress and work on that?
To answer some of these, Mr. Pratibimb 𝗪𝗀𝗀, founder of Pratibimb Charitable Trust, brings to you Face to Face. This week, we are talking about workings of the mind.
So we know now that mind is universal mind, society mind, conscious mind, subconscious mind, all put together into one package. So what do you think, how all these put together, work together in day-to-day living? Which usually plays
everything works on triggers. Whatever trigger is operated or pressed, it's like a keyboard. Whatever key you press, that sound is created. So for example, as a child, I'm going with my parents walking along the road and I see another child with his parents eating ice cream. So I saw a child eating ice cream. My conscious mind got triggered that he's enjoying ice cream. I also want ice cream.
Okay.
So when I saw a trigger of ice cream, it activated a thought process in my conscious mind. It created an emotion of desire in my subconscious mind. That created an expression, "Mummy, I want ice cream." So this whole chain had a trigger. Now this is a visual trigger, external trigger. I am sitting, I've had food, nothing to do, I feel like having a dessert. There is an internal trigger of memory. And in my memory, I have got storage points which says in one of the storage point, something that gives me joy is ice cream. And I am now thinking of desserts and all the options, and ice cream is at the top of the list. So quickly my memory bank plucks up that ice cream and pokes my conscious mind. Hey, as dessert, let's order ice cream. So everything is triggers. The functioning of the mind is because of triggers. Triggers are programs. So when the trigger is pressed in the human body, that program starts operating.
So basically the five senses are triggers.
Five senses are external triggers.
Okay. What are the internal triggers?
Conditioned reflex.
Like?
I am conditioned to react in a particular manner. For example, I come from the Indian society. So when I meet somebody, I say namaskar. This is my conditioning. You come from a European society, you will say hello, howdy.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah. So whatever comes naturally to you is because of your conditioning.
So these are all triggers. All together, they make the mind work in a particular manner. Is it what you are trying to say?
Yeah. Now, there's a little bit of catch in that, because what makes your conscious mind work is a sense of logic, reasoning, all that. Your subconscious mind doesn't have that facility of logic. Your subconscious mind is a slave.
Yeah.
It's a slave to conditioning. The way you have, it's like a piece of clay.
So the way you have molded it
into a particular article, then that clay will depict that article. So the way you have conditioned your subconscious mind is the way it projects itself.
So let us say I am working on clay. So I make two pots. Both pots are identical in shapes, but one pot appears appealing while the other does not. The same way, in a family there are two children. I am just giving an example. Both the children do not have the same level of intelligence, understanding, or their minds are different, though their social upbringing is the same, the environment is the same. So how does this intelligence of one child being different, what does explain this phenomena?
So the premise that you start from the same clay itself is not right.
Okay.
Nobody is same, that's why your thumbprints are different.
Okay.
Once you accept that the clay is not the same, then you don't expect identical pots to look same and be the same in weight or appeal. Yeah. So like you said, siblings in the same family. Same environment, assumption. It's not the same environment. Say we are brothers and we have parents relating to us.
Right.
How you perceive your mother and father
Is different than what you perceive.
is different from how I perceive the same two people who are also my mother and father.
True, true.
Yeah. So the relationship that I share with my parents is quite different from the relationship you share with the same two people who are also my parents and your parents.
Right.
So your molding is according to your perception. My molding is according to my perception. I may feel that I am the neglected sibling and you are the favored sibling. Okay. And I develop a sense of animosity or distance with my parents, and you develop affinity to the same set of parents. So when we say that everything is same, why children are different? Let's first accept the fact that things are not same. The starting material is not same,
and the thought is different.
Environment, the conditioning is not the same.
And the thought is also different.
Thoughts is again the starting material.
So let's say imagination, for example. It is a thought.
No, imagination is not a thought.
Then
imagination triggers a thought.
Okay.
For example, some inventors imagined that man will fly like a bird.
Yeah.
And they created the aircraft.
Right.
Yeah. The aircraft must have failed several times before they succeeded in making a machine fly.
So that was work
as
in
in
progress.
any experiment. So the imagination tells you, I want to do this. Now you start thinking about it. So the imagination is the starting point.
So it's the trigger again.
It's the starting point. It can create a chain of thoughts. Somewhere along the chain of thoughts is the end result.
True.
The end result may not be exactly the way you envisaged initially. And then while the chain of thought is evolving, you discover certain other facets which you want to incorporate in your imagination or in your article of imagination. So for example, you take your cell phone. Your cell phone was initially imagined as a device that will give you connectivity on the move.
Right. Mobile.
So some rudimentary device was created. Then it became a smartphone. Today your smartphone has replaced your laptop and your computer.
So that's an evolution.
So that's an evolutionary process. Imagination comes to you as a composite of several factors. One of the important factors is the universe itself. My mind picks up the picture that is existing in the universe and I allow that picture to pass. It's just a transit lounge for the picture.
Okay.
It transits through my mind. Nothing happens.
True.
Thousands of people saw the apple falling.
But
Nobody paused to wonder why the apple is falling. One mind picked up the phenomenon of apple falling and then the law of gravity was discovered.
So let's say that mind is capable of doing all these things.
Yes.
So if we want to improve our mind, we can, the way we exercise our bodies to get muscular built and all that in the physical realm, the same way how can we improve or make our mind better?
You have the answer yourself. You said exercise. So exercise your mind.
How?
Now your mind is a bundle of energy which gets wasted. Wasted in unnecessary thinking. When I am thinking, I am spending that energy. Is my thinking productive or is it non-productive? If it is non-productive, I am wasting that energy.
So how do you stop doing that?
Right. So how do you stop thinking?
How do you stop thinking unnecessary things?
How do you
Is
stop
the
thinking?
better
First subject is how do I stop thinking? Then I'll come to the unnecessary part. Watch a flame of a candle
okay.
under a draft of air.
Okay.
Say a pedestal fan. The flame will flicker.
Right.
Correct? Stop the fan and what happens to the flame? The flame becomes steady. So that's the first training. Your mind is constantly wavering, flickering, this thought, that thought. Train the mind to become steady. Now that the mind is steady, now impact it with the thoughts that I want to impact it with. What am I doing? I am training this mind to have a particular line of thinking.
It is possible.
You did it as a child. You spoke your mother tongue. Can you speak Russian?
No, I can't.
No, because your mind was not impacted with Russian. Your mind was impacted with an Indian language and you have picked up an Indian language. Your mind got trained by the constant impact of one particular language. That time your mind was steady because it had nothing to occupy it.
True.
You were a child. Today you try to learn a language, you will struggle.
Yes.
Because your mind is cluttered, it is full of so many thoughts
Unnecessary
that there is no empty space in which something new can be added.
The working of the mind is such a phenomenal, it's better than even any magic we can see today.
Sure, you are seeing magic.
Yeah, we are living magic.
You are seeing a robot that is created by the human mind.
Even the artificial intelligence which is
There
created by.
There you are.
So, mind can make wonders.
Absolutely.
Today we learned the magic created by the working of our minds. Phenomenal things can happen. What 7 wonders of the world, but we can do so many other things which we have not even thought of, which can happen in the near future.
If you have some questions about life, please connect with us. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon for weekly updates.